These are the words of the Honorable Nathaniel R. Jones, whose successful legal debates and diplomatic actions in the arena of civil and human rights have made him one of the most well-respected members of our nation's legal system.
The debates can be diplomatic, and at the heart of debates are a set of rules by which people present their point of view and listen to the opposite point of view. Debates can be immediate or they can be extended over time.
Drafted in 1945, Jones served in a segregated United States Army Air Corps in Dayton, Ohio. After his discharge in 1947, Jones was also introduced to NAACP Executive Secretary Walter White. That same year, as an anxious veteran, Judge Jones delivered his first speech at a convention of the NAACP in Dayton. His topic was what the returning black veteran expects.
I was the chief counsel, legal counsel. My job was to see to it that the various programs at the NAACP branches across the country, there are 1,700 branches, 1,700 cities. My job was to see to it that any positions that they took were consistent with the basic core purpose of the organization.
In 1961, Jones was appointed by Attorney General Robert Kennedy as an assistant U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Ohio in Cleveland, becoming the first black assistant U.S. attorney in that district.
Education was probably most frustrating, trying to bring about school desegregation in the North. Originally, the efforts at desegregating schools took place in the South. Because those southern states had statutes and constitutional provisions that mandated segregation.
The 1954 landmark case, Brown v. Board of Education in Topeka, Kansas, had declared separate but equal schools unconstitutional. There still remained, even in the 1970s, the matter of desegregating the schools.
The effort to bring the Brown decision, Brown v. Board of Education, bring it north was a major challenge that I had, and we succeeded to a considerable extent, but then we failed at a time when we thought we had something that would really break the back of contention, problems in schools. There must be notice. There must be an opportunity given to the persons who are responsible to try to correct the situation, and that is where the diplomatic part comes in.
From 1969 to 1979, Jones argued several cases before the United States Supreme Court and led national efforts to end school segregation and to defend affirmative action.
We were able to, in a large number of cities in the North, to demonstrate that the isolation in the schools, some schools identified as black, some schools identified as white, came about because of policies that were being pursued in the North that were not statutory, but yet there were policies. And because of that, that was a form of governmental action that violated the Constitution, and courts were ordering a change. And that was in the Detroit school case, when the court said that we could not consolidate school districts. In other words, you could not, we could not order, a judge could not order school kids in the Anderson Township to attend schools in Cincinnati. And school segregation is a real cancer in this country, and even after we had great success in the South, the problems in the North remain.
In each school segregation case, Jones debated successfully, proving his contention that the segregation in northern schools was systematic and intentional. Jones also investigated and debated discrimination cases in the armed forces, ensuring affirmative action for those serving our country.
I think where I was probably most successful was dealing with the military. Shortly after I became general counsel, I was required, I was getting requests from servicemen around the world who were being victims of discrimination. The first case was up in Goose Bay, Labrador, the Air Force base up there, where some black airmen felt they were being victims of discrimination by other airmen and by people who lived in the town and by their base commander. So I had to send a team of lawyers up there to investigate, and we found there was a problem, and we got it corrected.
Again, it was the skilled courtroom debate of Nathaniel R. Jones that brought about the justice and the advancement of civil rights. On May 17, 1979, during a White House ceremony, President Jimmy Carter announced his decision to appoint Nathaniel R. Jones to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit. Jones took his oath of office on October 15, 1979. During the 1980s, Judge Jones made repeated trips to South Africa, seeking to assist in ending South African apartheid, illegal racial segregation enforced by the National Party government in South Africa between 1948 and 1994, under which the rights of the majority of black inhabitants of South Africa were curtailed and minority rule by whites was maintained. Through his continued activism and diplomatic actions, Judge Jones played a vital role in the abolition of apartheid in South Africa. With the eventual end of apartheid, Judge Jones served on the team of observers for the first democratic elections in South Africa in 1993. And in working with newly elected President Nelson Mandela, Judge Jones played a crucial role in drafting South Africa's first constitution.
I was involved in counseling with and talking with the members of the Constitutional Convention and the lawyers who were involved in drafting the Constitution as to how they could ensure there would be provisions in the Constitution that would protect the rights of white minorities, keep the country stable and capable of growth so they wouldn't have a brain drain.
From the local to the international, Judge Jones's capable leadership, skilled legal debates, and international diplomacy have had a lasting impact. In order of Judge Jones, the federal courthouse in his hometown of Youngstown, Ohio, bears his name. Other honors and awards bestowed upon Judge Jones include the National Bar Association's Equal Justice Award, the Millennium International Volunteer Award, and the Human Relations Award. His exceptional record of community and scholarly services includes teaching at the University of Cincinnati College of Law, North Carolina Central University College of Law, and Harvard Law School. These days, Judge Jones continues his skilled debates as he makes it his mission to explain the present effects of our nation's racial past. Judge Jones sits on the board of the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center in Cincinnati, Ohio, where he recently and rightfully sat on a panel discussion with Carlotta Wells Lanier, who was the youngest member of the Little Rock Nine.
The greatest gift and contribution that the Freedom Center is making and can make is to create is to connect dots, historical dots, with our past and with our present, as a means of learning what we can do about the future.